All right. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Let's begin before we have problems.
Yeah. So the link that I'm on is Michelle's link. I guess one wasn't sent out to me, so that's the issue there.
Okay.
No worries. I will just go through this pretty quick. Am I able to share screens to open the slideshow?
I don't know. Let's try to.
Host disabled participant screen sharing.
Do what?
It says that you have disabled screen sharing.
Okay. So screen share.
I promise you, this is going to be the hardest part of this project.
Okay. I hit screen share.
All right.
Project. All right, screen share is enabled.
No, it's not working at all.
Well, it's green. It's green on my screen.
Yeah, but if you click on it, it'll tell you that the host has disabled participant screen sharing.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I enable it? All panelists, boom, we're done.
Yep.
All right, perfect.
So you should be all set now.
There we go.
Hey, there we go.
All right, hold on 1 second. Okay. So we should be good now. Well, let me get this started. Start from the beginning. So I guess first I'll introduce myself. My name is Casey Killam. I've worked at GSX for about 6 years now. And typically I help with site acquisition in the New England market and also with community relations. So as far as if you have a question for the developer, I can definitely help with that and get answers. So for tonight, I figured the best step would be to go through sort of the architecture behind the project, why we designed it the way we did, and dive into how we can fit into the community and especially the small business community. So to start off with the first slide here. So this is where—
Hey, Casey, I'm going to interrupt just for a second. Go up to slideshow so that we don't have the thing on the side.
Oh.
If you click on that, that'll bring it full screen. So bring your cursor up to where it says slideshow along the top.
It's sharing the wrong screen. Hold on.
I think we lost Carl. Carl, did we lose you?
No, I'm still here.
How's that?
There you go. That's better. Yep.
All right, perfect. So yeah, much better. All right, so this is to start what you're looking at from the street side view looking into the property. So currently, if you drive up the road there on Pine Street, there is on the right like a gated entryway that goes between the existing hospital buildings. And so this is what you'd be looking at as you pull down the street. And the design of this was to align the road so that you create a visually appealing and safe intersection, right, where across from where Centennial is. And what we were trying to do here is to create kind of the nexus of this area of Grafton across from the commuter rail stop, where it starts to draw people in to be a location, a new location in Grafton. Grafton's great, that has a beautiful commons area. It has just different distinct areas of Grafton that all create the community. So what we tried to do here is create another one of those hotspots for people to come and visit, want to spend time. So we'll go through the site plan, but as you can see on the right side here, you have the commercial element of it, which is about 12,000 square feet. The design of this, we did consider some of the COVID concerns of retailers, one of which is being having outdoor seating and having the ability for 3-season. It's tough to make 4-season in New England, as we all know, but for a restaurant location. So we'd love to have a pub, brewery, or something of that type that can be an attraction for people to be drawn to this project, and have a rooftop deck seating area for people to meet, greet, relax after work. So we'll keep going along here. But what I'd like to show is, so like I said, as you pull off the intersection, you'll see the building here. What we decided to do as an architectural perspective is draw on some of the elements of the existing hospital. That's done through, you can see the chimneys that matches some of the existing chimney lines. And then the courtyards. A big part of the existing infrastructure in place is these courtyards that are surrounded by the brick buildings. And so we incorporated that. Between these two buildings here is the pool area for the tenants. And there's several other areas that we could see when we go to an aerial view. So this project right here, as you can see, has several different wings. And those wings were there to replicate some of, again, the original architecture. The design that the lead architect, John Grant, who was on the call earlier, uses, it's called a Texas donut. And what that is this parking structure on the back side of the building, where each level of the building aligns with a level of the parking deck. So if you're a tenant that lives in this building and you come home with your groceries, you drive up to your level, you park on your level, and it also helps with handicap accessibility. So you roll right out of your car into the building on your level and enter it. So another driving force behind the design of the site, in consideration of the COVID concern, is also the separation of the residential section of the property with the commercial. So on the right, you have this really nice building that's integrated into the topography of the site, built into the hillside here. And then there's the road demising the site, which provides access for Jobs Corp, and also provides the rear access to bring into the parking structure. The last thing we want to have is for the residents of Grafton to be driving by the site and staring at this large parking structure. So that's been nestled in the back of the site. On the commercial segment, which we're describing as retail, but it may end up lending itself to medical office, even potentially a traditional office user, is right here. So this would be most likely a multi-tenant building between 3 and 5 tenants. And this has its own designated parking deck on the back of the building that's multi-level. Now, the way this was designed, the main level of the parking deck provides enough parking for the retail users. The lower level of the parking deck was designed because of the feedback we received through the process of the RFP that there's a need for additional parking for the commuter rail stop. So that is something that we have an option of providing. It also provides overflow for the residents for guest parking if the need be after hours. The last thing we wanted to do with this project is create an additional burden on any of the other parking lots in the area. So that was a big design factor here. So here's another angle. These pink buildings, as you were asking earlier, are existing buildings on the site. So they're just trying to lend yourself to where the original or the initial Jobs Corp buildings are that will remain. So you can see where those are. I believe the building right here is, John, do you know if, is that their cafe, if I remember correctly? I think it is.
John, you're muted.
Yeah, Cafe Student Center or whatever it was.
Okay, perfect. So this is the Cafe Student Center, and we needed, part of the project is to provide access to them for their loading docks in the back. So by using that road, through here, we're able to provide access to that. And we also like how it visually divides up the site. So this is one uniform site, but it allows access and kind of creates a visual barrier because the retail segment we really felt should be integrated into the topography, but also allocated closer to the commuter rail stop so that people, when they come home from work, could always stop over there and meet their spouse, friends, anything like that, and utilize this structure. This is just another angle so you can see how this is all built up. And here's another one. So this shows the courtyard between the buildings. So you're looking from the inside of the courtyard out at the commercial retail building right here. So obviously in the world we live in today, you're probably not going to have people gathering like this, but we hope for the future that this can be something that's different. Again, you can see a little bit more about the architecture here. We're trying to match some of the existing stone bases of some of the buildings leading into brick. And we really think this is going to fit in well to the town of Grafton. We didn't want to have a cookie cutter apartment style building that you can see in many different places that just doesn't fit the community. Yes, it's new and shiny, but we want something that's going to age appropriately into the town. So this gives you a good idea again about how the building is set into the topography. It's not raised up on the site. We want this so that when you're driving down Pine Street, it looks like it's always been there. And this gives you a good view of how we can arrange the various storefronts or office users or medical office users. There's, depending upon how it's demised up, it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units actually. But the original conceptual plans showed that this would become 1 unit right here for a restaurant user. So the dog park, this is the question everyone has. So this upper area of the site here is where the dog park would be. And we created walking paths around the perimeter of the property. So this ties into the main parking road here, but this is a walking path that can be enjoyed and walks through here. So there's various points to dip into the courtyards and then go along the retail section and back. This gives a nice clear view of that. So as far as unit counts, and we can go back a page to see that, it's actually a breakup of several different uses. So there's efficiencies, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, and 3 bedrooms. There's 71 efficiencies, 165 1 beds, 62 2 beds, and 8 3 bedrooms. So typically as developers, we try to cater towards 3 bedrooms because you get higher density, higher price per unit. That was not the intention with this project. We really want to get something that matches what the community is looking for. We notice that there's a demand for young professionals, but also for families or young families that are transitioning into either they've sold their starter home and they're looking for a place to hold over until they find their dream home. And so we've designed this project to really meet the needs of what we believe is in the marketplace. This project works out to be 306 units, which equates to about 384 beds on the site. We're really, like I said, we're really hoping to get a mix of demographic, families, young professionals, people from Tufts, and make this a part of the community that you folks are proud of and can grow into the community, not just stand out in the community. So that's really a visual of what the project is. If there's any sort of other questions for this, I'm happy to back up on that.
So what were the numbers on the efficiencies and the 1 bedrooms?
Sure. It's 71 efficiencies,
Yep.
165 1 bedrooms,
Okay.
62 2 bedrooms, and 8 3 bedrooms.
Right. Okay.
And the full package is also available on the town website. We're very fortunate, we work in a lot of different communities to have a wonderful website that actually populates with up-to-date information on presentation. So our full PowerPoint, I think it's saved as a PDF, is available on the website that has the breakdown of unit counts for each floor.
I'm assuming that dogs are allowed.
Of course.
Okay, I'm curious about, I guess when you construct, you'll have to be, with the, what am I trying to say? The sound barriers so that you don't hear your dogs barking next door. Like you're having, and your construction materials, I guess, would be how, it's a minor detail, but I'm sure you can allude, you know.
Yeah, most developments nowadays, they have different construction techniques to kind of accommodate some noise concerns. Unfortunately, you can't guarantee that you're not going to hear a dog bark. I have a 15-pound German Spitz. It's this little tiny dog, but his bark sounds like a 30 or 40-pound dog. You'll probably hear that through any wall.
Yeah.
He'll scare the heck out of you. So things like that might be something that it's a muffled noise between spaces, but I honestly I can't really speak to that. That's not my
Yeah.
specialty there.
I was just curious. Are the interior walls going to be like brick
No.
architecture? Okay.
No. Structural brick is not really something that's used anymore. When you do old mill renovations, like we're working on a project right now in another town where the whole building was built structurally with brick, you're able to keep some of that vintage aspect to it. But with new construction, it's more of a facade.
How much of the buildings, the existing buildings, do you have to actually remove? Or are you tearing them all down and just reproducing something that looks like?
Exactly. So we really studied hard into the ability to reutilize some of the buildings. I don't know if you've been through the buildings, but we did a tour of them. It's a combination of design. So the demising walls in there, many of them were very much structural, the way the steel is rested on them. And the room sizes, unfortunately, I use the term cells, where the way that they were designed, secured rooms, you can't just start knocking down walls, going for an open concept and then rebuilding. There's also what appeared to be a substantial amount of mold. There's environmental abatement that has to happen there. So what we decided that would best serve us and the community is to build something in like character, but build something that's modern, efficient, and we think we've also done that in a way that pays due to the architecture that used to be there.
I think it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, very nice.
Come on, you guys are too easy. Give me some hard questions.
What's the ratio of affordable housing that's being put in?
Oh, see, that was good. You jumped right into it. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head. I'd like to say it's like 24, 25. It was whatever was in the RFP for a requirement. We made sure we hit that target. That I believe is spelt out in the full package available on the town website.
I think
And that
that's
is-
20% was the
Yeah,
requirement.
20. I think it's 20 or 24%.
And that'll
I
be
think it's
evenly
20%
split
requirement.
among the different style units.
Yes, you're not allowed to discriminate. It's a state rule.
Do you want to give people an idea of what type of timeline we're looking at, Casey?
Sure. So that is one of the tough parts of a project like this. Like I grew up in Shrewsbury. Like I had mentioned before in some of the other presentations, I've been looking at the site my entire life. I'm really excited to see this happen, but the reality of it is when you're doing a $76 million development, things take time just to move through the process with the community, the state, relocating infrastructure, such as water lines, everything else. We are looking at a 2024 completion date. We'd love to go faster. We really would, but that's just the reality of a project this side.
Well, it certainly does look beautiful, and it's going to be nice to get that area all developed.
Absolutely.
Do you want to give people an idea of what type of rents they're looking at?
That's something that's still being decided as we move forwards with our marketing research. And I'm sure that's something that we can publish, but we're just not at a position to, I don't want to quote something and have that change after the market study comes back. One thing we could talk about, since this is the committee for it, is what are some of the businesses that you would like to see here? Well, we can't guarantee that. It's definitely something we want to field. You know the community better than we do. Is there a certain type of business that you'd like us to try to proactively go after?
A breakfast, full serve breakfast.
I can't say no to that. I'm a big breakfast guy. Yeah, that's something we could definitely look into. Do you know of any family-owned businesses in town that are growing? I know growing is a tough word to describe for a lot of retail businesses as we're dealing with this right now, but we're hoping by the completion of this, we're all back to a friendly reality.
Stephanie's, she moved to Upton.
You took the word right out of my mouth.
Yeah. Breakfast at Stephanie's.
Okay.
Amazing
Put a note
food,
of that.
like very creative and not just eggs and toast. It's large stacks of waffles with, we had creative waffles and pancakes and breakfast. I definitely encourage you to check her out in Upton.
You're
She didn't
making
want
me
to have to leave
hungry.
Grafton, but there was no space.
Yeah, no, that sounds like it might be a great fit for us. Has the town been approached by any businesses, breweries or anything like that have shown an interest and but just couldn't place themselves?
No, we haven't been approached, but we'd like to see one.
Yeah.
I think a brewery would be nice in that area.
I want to mention right down the street is Pecorino Wine and Cheese Shop.
Mhm.
And I think the building that she's renting right now, and John, correct me if I'm wrong, I think is a marijuana retail business going into part
Yes.
of it.
Yes.
Yeah. She's invested a lot of money into her brick oven, I believe she has, but I would encourage you to also talk to her
Okay.
about future opportunity, because what you're creating is, I could just envision her being there.
Matches
that's
much
great.
more closely her business than the marijuana retail does.
Yeah.
That's actually an excellent idea.
And I had also talked to, much as I would hate to see her not be in the center of town, Quite Fetching, the dog barkery.
That'd be fantastic here, especially next to Tufts and our residents.
Exactly. And they want to actually try to, manufacture their cookies. She needs a commercial kitchen. So she's got a really small storefront in the center, which has been amazing. But for future growth, you definitely might want to approach her.
Sure.
I own the antique shop up in the center of town.
If I can jump in on this, another business that comes to mind, again, not in Grafton, but it would be nice if we get them similar, is Country Super, I believe it is, on 140 going towards Milford?
Country Super.
It's a mom and pop shop. They do full service, like a meat counter deli where they prepare meats for like barbecue and whatever, but it's a small convenience store. So looking at the number of people you're going to have for residents,
Mhm.
something like that, I think would be really great for them to be just, literally walk across the street and have, not just your typical gas station convenience store, but something that, again, more
Real food.
family. I'm sorry, say again?
I said real food.
Yes, exactly. So,
Well, definitely keep the ideas coming. I know we've sent out my information. It should be in the package as well, but any ideas you have, unfortunately, we have time. And we're hoping as things develop in the world, maybe there's some new businesses that are going to pop up in the area or want to come into Grafton, especially when they see the demand for this. So we're definitely all ears. We can't guarantee that, everything will work out numbers wise to make the move for a lot of these companies, but we're happy to have conversations and see if we can make something happen.
Yeah. Can I also add twisted pretzel?
Twisted pretzel. I haven't heard of that
Wicked Twisted.
Yeah.
Wicked twisted pretzel.
Wicked Twisted.
Oh, you're missing out, Casey.
one.
And there's
This
go ahead.
This is a company that manufactures pretzels, and they actually sell them to stores and bakeries. And they're looking for
Pubs.
Nice.
pubs. And they're looking for space because they need a commercial kitchen.
Okay. Yeah, this is a good list. Hopefully they're still in the market when we finish the retail part, but
Yeah, let me make another suggestion. It seems like an awful lot of what we've come up with is food. And of course, one of the things I think that we've discovered with this COVID thing is that a fair amount of our, dollar spending, consumer spending had shifted to out-of-home food in many ways. We all get home from work and nobody wants to cook. And so all kinds of, food retailing was taking off. If in fact it looks like you're going to have literally a string of different types of food, whether it's the cheese shop, the full service restaurant, the pet place, then the kind of the mini grocery store you were talking about, it sounds like maybe this might lend itself to a shared kitchen. Because I know that's one of the things that's been popping up is that there's one central kitchen, but 4 or 5 different eateries are using it. They're sharing it.
Is that the ghost
Rather
kitchen?
than
Is that
each
the,
of them. Sorry, what?
I think it's called a ghost kitchen. Is that the term that they use?
That's possible. I just remember hearing about that concept. And as I'm hearing everybody come up with, even the dog place wants a kitchen,
Right.
that would be something worth considering.
It's
You still-
makerspace.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you want them to mix up your pretzels with dog biscuits, though. But
No, they're human grade. They're
oh,
human
perfect.
grade.
Yeah.
Speaking of dog, Willie.
So anyway, I just thought I would throw that out.
Yeah, these are all great ideas. I mean, like I said, we have time, so please send over any more ideas you have, or if you're out there speaking to people in the world, mention to them that we have the space and we have the time to talk through it and see if it's a good fit. We can't guarantee, like I said, that the numbers will work, but we definitely want to have these conversations. Is there any other questions about the residential side of it or the retail side of it, or any concerns that you can think of that we can talk about?
If I may, looking at this, I realize it's conceptual drawings. However, it shows four stories. Would the top third story, would any of those be, I'm probably going to misspeak when I say loft apartments, as opposed to, like an apartment that's takes the third and fourth floor, or are they all going to be just on one level?
As far as the breakdown of units, those are going to be dispersed through, it's available in the package on the town website. You can see what the unit breakdown is.
Okay.
I think he's getting at, are any of them going to be townhouse styles or 2-level apartments?
Oh, no,
Are they
no,
all
no,
on
no.
the same?
No, no, they're definitely not. But this
Okay.
is just one of the pages that shows a breakdown of it. No, each floor would be its own separate units.
Okay.
They're not 2-story ones.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you very much for having us. I apologize, the technology part of it didn't really work out at first, but it was great meeting with you. And like I said, if you have any feedback, suggestions, go out in the community and talk to people. We want to get people familiar with the project and know that we want to build something pretty great in this area of Grafton.
Okay.
Thanks, Casey.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good
John,
night.
what's next on the agenda items?
Next, we're going to talk about the Shop Grafton. Initially, I thought we were going to try and do it this year more electronically and touchless using QR codes, but after additional research, that's not the case. So, want to hear your ideas and thoughts about Shop Grafton for 2020.
I was just recently out of town visiting my daughter, and we did a lot of walking around because of the rain, shopping and such. And even with the rain, the town we were in, they were able to work it out where they had a couple of people standing outside and just obviously monitoring the ins and outs and building capacity. And at one store, they actually said, "Hey, folks, just please be aware, there's a lot of people trying to get in. Limit your shopping to like 10 minutes, whatever." So I guess what I'm getting at is the fact that I feel we could still have in-person, in-store shopping, and each retailer, not decide, they know already their capacity, and they have to, juggle that themselves. But again, I just feel like we could still have bodies in the shop type of thing, like the way we've always had it.
Okay.
Well, John,
I think that's,
I think last year's was very successful, and if we don't change the model, I think we'll be fine. Let the individual stores worry about their capacity. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
True. I think I am worried about capacity. And I saw Jen from the recreation department yesterday. Because when you have the singular day, Grafton celebrates the holidays where all the events were traditionally held, we had hundreds of people in the store. And so what I thought that we should do, and you had suggested this, John, earlier, is start the campaign the 1st of November, and encourage people to shop now, like 1st of November, shop earlier, and shop local. So so that people are ahead of the curve and they're not waiting until the last minute and then going out and having, exposure to crowds. So maybe there's a slogan, shop now, shop local, shop often, shop local, and just start that in November and just remind people that, because retailers will be ready. Carol, I think, is pulling out Christmas in September because she can't have anybody in her ice cream area and the coffee shop, really. So she's going to utilize that space for the holiday merchandise. So I think by November, we're all going to be ready.
I think the retailers are going to need or may want the same leeway that the restaurants were given, in the sense that I know it's late in the year and it's going to be weather driven, but if they have the ability to put a pop-up tent out in front of their store, maybe they put a couple tables out there, anything that can help them make their products more visible. Again, I think we should, if we have to, allow them some leeway with the whatever rules or regulations might prohibit them from putting a tent in their parking lot.
Okay. Obviously, I can't approve that, but I'll forward that
parking?
request on. What's that?
What parking?
You got the railroad.
Oh yeah, he's another story, but anyway.
Okay.
Morgan, you have a bit of an advantage. You probably have one of the largest footprints
Yeah, we're
of the
lucky.
retail stores. Yeah.
And we're actually
Plus the huge ceilings.
we're changing the door egress to be out swing doors and not in swing, so we can actually have capacity larger than our 19 that's allowed right now. So
Nice. Okay.
yeah. But that still doesn't mean you really want to be in a space with 50 people milling
Oh,
about.
no. But I'm just saying, you have the ideal COVID space. Just
Especially
in
now
terms
with the
of
garage
survival.
door open with the breeze coming in.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and then Jen, we talked about, I said that she had asked about, window decorating contests and things. And I said that would be a great thing. And she's going to have it, I think, residential. People can decorate windows around their houses. The shops can do that. And I said, maybe the day of the traditional Christmas tree lighting, because she's trying to get a tree on the common. Maybe that's the focus that day, is the tree lighting. And then you go around and vote for your favorite window. Instead of, probably isn't going to be a craft fair. There's not going to be the petting zoo. There's not going to be a lot of what we used to have. But if you
Santa, what are they going to do about Santa?
Well, he could probably still ride around on the fire truck. But I think she mentioned that, Carl, you're not doing the train. Is that correct?
We don't do the train. We do Santa, and the photos with Santa.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like that's going to happen either.
So I think 95% of what was traditionally done is probably not going to happen, but there still is going to be efforts to make it festive.
I don't want to be definitive about that, but that seems to be the trend right now. So
yeah. I think people get it too. But if we can do more things that are decorative and festive around town with lights and things where kids can still be excited about the holidays with less exposure, that's what we need to start thinking about. Some creative things especially for the rec department to be able to do. So Jen's seeking suggestions if you have any.
I know when my kids were young, one of the things that we always really enjoyed was just driving around looking at the Christmas lights.
Yeah. Maybe there's a bingo, Christmas bingo or holiday bingo, when you go around and, like the Walmart bingo, something where the kids can go around and see, lights on certain streets and check it off and then enter to win something. Maybe it's for the kids this year for prizes and not the merchants. I don't know.
well, I think that's, probably a good start with regards to the conversation. But I think, John, we're probably going to have a little bit more conversation about this as we go forward.
John, I
Okay.
think you could still do the stamp thing because people put it on the counter and I stamp it. I'm not touching. I don't have an issue with stamping somebody's card.
Yeah, it can be touchless.
Yeah.
Right, but the thing, yeah, they're gonna have to bring the card to you, you put on, they place it on the counter
Yeah.
as opposed to you.
I
Yeah.
think we could continue to do that. And
It
then,
It might be a little difficult only because we can only have so many people in our facility at one time. But if they bring it, we can stamp it. So I see that being somewhat as I think that can happen. That can work.
I think we're gonna have to have a, not an actual photo booth, but something on that idea. Or where someone just, again, you have an employee or whatever it is, an elf outside in a little kiosk, and the people come up to the kiosk with their thing and they get their stamp that way. You know, and they get a candy cane.
Well, I think you hit upon an important part is if you have to have somebody outside or near the front door for crowd control, maybe that's the point they get to stamp if they want it.
I don't think anybody's had to have that right now. So,
No, I'm just saying now with the COVID and the limitations,
yeah.
I don't know what your traffic flow's like, but what town was it, Sean, that you were at with your daughter?
We were in Nantucket,
Mm.
Okay.
Little tiny shops.
right?
Yeah.
A lot of small shops close together. But, you know, even there with the people all over the street and everything, narrow sidewalks, narrow streets, everybody was wearing a mask. I saw very few people not wearing a mask, and so, being respectful as best they could. So it
Which is why
it
they've
worked out. It worked out there. So
That's why they've got basically 0 cases, and even our state as a whole is doing extremely well.
Knock on wood.
Everywhere I go, people are masked up. It's wonderful. Now we'll see about the college kids, but that's
Right.
another story.
John, so I think instead of waiting until the week of Shop Small Saturday, maybe we just start it for November 1st.
I think that's a good idea.
I'm fine with that.
And then it's
It's-
just, yeah. Um,
Morgan, do you want to make a motion that we do that?
Make a motion that we kick off the Shop Grafton 2020 season for November 1st.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Thanks. Nice job.
Okay. Let me give you guys an update on 1727 Upton Street, the future former DPW site.
Woo!
We're looking to get the RFP out probably early September. And based on that, have the responses back before the end of the year and moving forward on that.
Are there any updates on the environmental information?
What we know about from environmental issues is going to be posted with part of the RFP. We do know that there's some contamination, but we don't know to what extent and what mitigation factors will be required.
They'll be fine. The library took care of it all.
John, you had in your agenda social media marketing seminar.
Yes, we're going to do the social media marketing seminar again this year, but instead of doing it the one day like we did last year, we're going to do it over a period of 4 weeks, and we'll do 2 hours each time, once a week for 4 weeks.
Okay.
It's going to be geared towards trying to help people become more efficient with the online sales. And we're also going to place more of an emphasis on B2B sales than we have in the past too.
Hey, Dennis, did you find a new Charlie?
Well, no, but we do have a few heads floating around in the trailer, so we might be able to rig another head on the body. We're working on that. But we got a couple of people looking.
Well, I was just thinking about something fun for the holidays. What if we do a selfie station somewhere? And it's I feel like somebody's artistic enough to take huge sheets of plywood and then paint the abominable snowman and Santa and stuff, and then you can just take a selfie during the holidays up at the common.
With Charlie?
Charlie, plywood cutouts of
Yeah.
winter creatures.
Sure.
It'd be kind of fun. You're outdoors and you can go and do that, and it's really much. It's touchless to some.
Well, you know, the Lions have discussed a trunk and treat on our property for the night before Halloween, so people can bring their kids, walk around the
treat.
soccer field, and go into the trunks, and we'll, you know, trick or treat the trunks, and we'll have some characters out there. So it'll be like a socially distanced Halloween.
That's a great idea.
Because I don't know how many kids' parents are going to bring them to a strange house.
They're
for
not,
Halloween
and
night.
how many people are willing to have, you know, even because children, while they do seem to get a lesser version of the disease, turns out they're, you know, germ machines.
Yeah.
They're
Right.
transmitting it like crazy.
So
Oh,
we're
you
trying
just-
to have something. We're trying to have something that's family safe.
Yeah, I think that
because we-
sounds wonderful.
We can't do the hayride, so
Yeah.
Well, maybe
I
It's
think
got
that's
to be a
great
different
idea.
holiday all around.
what's that?
Yeah.
I said
Halloween.
Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas are going to be different holidays
Yeah, they will.
than we're accustomed to.
John, what else do we have on the agenda?
That's all I have today.
Do we have to
Motion to
put up
adjourn?
the $500 for something you had mentioned? Is
Oh.
there something about $500?
Approving the budget for it, the budget for the seminar.
Yes.
Oh, yes,
Thank you, Sean.
yes. I
Can I get a
left,
motion to approve the $500 for the social media seminar.
I'll second it.
Oh, right.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kyle. I thought you said you made a motion.
well, Dennis, you made the motion.
Okay.
Sean
I'll
seconded.
second it.
Any questions? So, John, I assume you still need the money.
We
That's why
do.
it was on there. Okay, just making sure.
No, that's
Yeah.
a good one from the finance gal.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Awesome. Thank you. Any other business?
I think that's it. Great presentation. I'm real
Yeah.
excited about that project.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got it up and going.
Maybe they'll take on the 1727 Upton Street too.
Yeah, that would be a godsend.
Well, I mentioned it to them, but I mentioned it to everybody as well. Just like I went out of my way to try and get as many submissions for 8 Pine Street, I'm going to do the same thing for 27 and 17 Upton Street once it's issued, because I think the more options we have, the better. With that said, I do know that there'll be some economies of scale if they're doing 2 projects in the same town at the same time.
Good job, John.
Any,
Great job, John.
Thank you.
any further word on the Worcester Street, the old Bolac Plaza?
Oh, yeah.
They're going to knock down the back portion for now. And my understanding is that the front portion, there's some leases there, but as those leases mature, they're not going to be renewed. And the desire is to knock down that portion as well.
Do we know what's going in there?
No, nothing's come forward. I
So
think,
that's going to affect Pub 122,
yes,
the convenience store, and Bay State Appliance. Who else?
Yes.
Who am I missing?
that's it.
Okay.
I believe all the, from what I'm seeing, I believe all the tenants that were in the back half are no longer there, so.
That is correct.
Is that the hot tub place too?
That's a separate building. But then who knows how the utilities are? And
Well, I know they moved their utilities in preparation to raise that building.
I could say the hot tub place is gone, isn't it?
Yes.
Right, is it?
all right,
I think it's been gone for a couple of years now.
Okay.
But it lives
Good.
on in infamy.
Yeah.
Been a while since you've been there, huh, Morgan?
Oh, my God.
Morgan, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah, I figured.
Aye.
I'll second.
Right.
Bye, folks.
Thanks, guys.
Bye,
All in
bye,
favor?
everybody.
All right,
Good
thanks, guys.
night.